Hi there guys, Sam here, welcome back to another video. You join me once again in my Mk8 Golf R to talk a little bit more about the BMW 128 Ti and how it's kind of a really big problem for the Mk8 Golf GTI, and it's kind of come out of nowhere really. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. So yes, you join me once again for another video on a gorgeous Sunday morning actually, to talk a little bit more around the BMW 128 Ti. Now I have done a video on this in the past a couple of weeks ago, so I'll put the link for that up there, but we've had a little bit more information around the prices being confirmed. Now we know that the Mk8 Golf GTI is starting from around £33,000, well 33,490 I believe in the UK, and if you want a automatic version you're gonna have to pay an extra £1,500, so you're looking just shy of £35,000. Now that's a lot because of the GTI name and the heritage and everything like that. That's kind of why they've priced it like that. But the reason why they've kind of been able to get away with the fact that there's no power increase, it's 245 brake horsepower, and not too much has really changed, is a little bit because of that name. And also because the competition isn't really like, it doesn't have the legacy behind it, and it doesn't have sort of like, I guess, the quality about it. It's never really had a rival in class. Certainly not a German rival. You look at Mercedes, the A35, it's four-wheel drive. It's a different segment. It's against the M135i. You look at like the Focus ST, yes, it kind of undercuts the price, but it doesn't necessarily have the German quality. Same with like the i30N and the Civic Type R, stuff like that. Maybe a little bit too hardcore as well for some. Now, BMW, always being rear-wheel drive, has sort of had its own sort of class of its own, really, and obviously enthusiasts love that to bits. But since they went to four-wheel drive with the M135i, yeah, it's sort of been okay, but not great. Now, they're not going to go back to rear-wheel drive simply because it adds a little bit more weight and complexity and costs and takes up space in the back. Loads of different reasons, really, which is why they're not. So they've bought out this front-wheel drive car, and there's been lots of marketing, as I've kind of mentioned before. It's kind of come out of nowhere. Loads of people are talking about it, loads of different automotive magazines talking about it, and whether or not BMW sort of pushed that to them is almost certainly the case. Now, the big thing is the price of this BMW 128 Ti, which has 261 brake horsepower, so 25 more than the Mk8 Golf GTI, only comes with an 8-speed, I believe it's like the ZF 8-speed gearbox, is 32,995. So that is about £2,000 less, which is actually a big amount. And bear in mind that BMW, particularly in the UK, you get quite big discounts as well on top of that. I think that's a pretty good place to start. Power's good, gearbox is good, 5-door. Yeah, it's got all you want. The only thing I'd say about the 1 Series is they all look the same to me. Whether it's a 118i or a 120i or whatever, or M135i, they all look the same. So there's not really a differentiator in style. Now, what do you get for that over and above, say, like a heavier four-wheel drive car? You save about 80 kilos, which is quite a lot. You get a little bit more agility. It's carried over a lot of the stuff from the M135i, so you get like the M135i brakes, but of course it's braking a less heavy car, so you get better braking performance. You get a similar gearbox. You're not that short on power. 261 is not exactly lacking, and you gain that power back because it weighs less. So it's a really good, interesting proposition, and it's German. It's got the German build quality. It's got the badge behind it to really worry the GTI. So all of that combined, it's a really interesting proposition actually. And finding this information out recently this week actually around the price has really got me thinking a bit more about this car. And to be honest, I'm really interested to know what you think about it. Being, you know, a lot of my channels around sort of like the Mk8 Golf R and the Mk8 Golf GTI. Do you think it's a real competitor? Do you think it's something to be worried about? Do you think it's something like that is quite good to get into? Something a bit different, you know, away from all the standard stuff? It's going to be quite subtle in a way because no one really knows what it is. Hence why there's been so much sort of like marketing and stuff like that through BMW, through like papers and magazines and all this kind of stuff. I think it's good. I think it's another car to add to kind of like the hot hatch kind of range. I think it'll be quite quick, and I think it'll probably be a bit more entertaining than a four-wheel drive equivalent. So I think that's quite cool. I think it's a big worry for the GTI because, you know, that sort of power is what you'd expect, like almost TCR kind of level. And it's £2,000 more. And VW don't tend to give discounts on their GTI stuff. You really pay what you pay. So clever stuff from BMW. I think it's going to make VW think a little bit more, because now they've got a proper rival really kind of competing against them. Doesn't have the legacy around it, but it's cheaper. And if you don't really care too much about your history, you know, it can be a car to go to. But I wanted to share this today because it's latest news. I want to know what you kind of think about it. Is it something that would sway you? You know, that BMW badge, decent amount of power, good amount of fun. Yeah, it is a bang-on competitor to the Mk8 Golf GTI, and based on kind of reviews on that car, it hasn't really blown the world away. It's not something you're ever going to have sort of like potentially a memorable moment in. A great daily and great and everything, but you're not going to be like, you know, push your head back to your seat kind of fun. So an interesting proposition for VW to worry about. And the good thing about this kind of stuff, it makes them raise their game. Unfortunately, they've played their cards first with the Mk8 Golf GTI, so they've got to think around something about this, because it's going to surprise them. And as I say, in the UK, if you get a little bit of a discount as well, can make a big difference. And price for me is always king. We've got a lot of problems in the world and the car industry is probably in a little bit of a confusing state. Sometimes dealers are selling loads of cars and the next week they're not selling any cars. We've got problems in the UK with sort of Brexit. I won't go into the full details, but it basically means like trade imports. It affects the price of cars if we don't strike a deal, because we will have to pay more per car, whether it's a Ford Fiesta. I believe I checked the figures actually this week, and if you want the same Fiesta in like January, if the trade deal doesn't go through, you'll be paying about just over £1,000 for like the base model, and that's for a Fiesta. So you think about, as you go further up the chain, you're going to be paying more. So expect these prices that I'm talking about to change in about 6 months' time. Yes, thanks Brexit. So yeah, all good fun on that side, and I really do think that's going to sway a lot of people's minds, particularly as stuff like Corona and bits continues and is not going to go away. People are very much conscious about the economy and money, and I think it actually gives BMW an opportunity to sell quite a few cars and make a good car. I like the car that no one really knows about, and that's a car that no one really knows about, and it could be a great car at that. So yeah, watch out, Mk8 Golf GTI, and let's see how it can respond really. But let me know your thoughts in the comments on this car. Yeah, and you know, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. You know, enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your week. You know, and yeah, stay tuned. Plenty more content to come. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. And yeah, I'll see you again next time. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.